Dragon Quest Builders 3 has been my dream for nearly 10 years now, and I can't decide whether Pokopia just killed the dream or reignited it. If you haven't heard of it, Pokopia is a new sandbox block building RPG for Nintendo. Imagine Minecraft and Pokemon fused together with a story. It's a massive success and Pokemon's highest rated game ever on Metacritic. Pokopia's success has left a lingering question rattling around in my head. What does this mean for Dragon Quest? Now bear with me, I'm not just trying to make everything about Dragon Quest, but this is a genuinely valid question that deserves some thought, so let's go through it. Now when I say Dragon Quest, I'm referring to Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2, and the discussion of a third entry has been widely discussed for years. However, as of right now, there's nothing confirmed or any rumours or leaks in sight, so we've got to explore the question, is Dragon Quest Builders 3 dead? There's two splitting factors here pulling the decision in opposite directions. The series has been dead for a long time now and it's very unlikely a rebirth is coming. However, the discussion goes a little deeper. I would argue the Dragon Quest IP has a lot of hidden potential and room to grow its spin-offs and be a success. The brand is just massive, and the mainline games are still selling well, but here's the thing. Pokopia's success could quietly be the rebirth of sandbox RPGs as a genre. Block building games fused with RPGs, especially sandboxes, are back in mainstream eyes in a great way, and there's a real argument that could be made that Pokopia is at the forefront of this inspiration. It could inspire some publishers to experiment with the genre again. But that's just from a fan's perspective. My own perspective, the reality of the industry right now is... let's just say it's very different. We've also got to be realistic here. The industry recently, especially in 2026, across the board are shutting down studios, cutting as many heads as they can and pulling back from anything that even feels like a slight risk. Look at Gang of the Dragon right now as a prime example. In development for years, with a critically acclaimed lead developer. Now the game is being cancelled because they needed a higher budget to finish. Publishers just don't want to take any risks and would rather cut losses instead of taking the risk. I know it can vary from case to case, but this sort of thing is happening across the industry. And the real question is Square Enix willing to risk Dragon Quest Builders 3 just based on the success of its competitor? And here's where it gets a bit tough to swallow. When we look closely at Pokopia's development and its key creatives, director Takura Edogawa and art director Maruna Ayano of Dragon Quest Builders 2 was brought over to develop Pokopia through collaboration with Megaforce. The two people responsible for making Dragon Quest Builders so beloved has now gone to its competitor. And when we think about that thought for a second, it reveals a lot. Square Enix let their best people walk out the door, and those same people just proved they're capable of making genre-defining games. The reality is Square Enix would have to pay massively to bring back developers who found success elsewhere with no shortage of opportunities knocking at their door, all in an industry where success has become too risky. And if they do go down the route of just hiring new people, sure, it might be cheaper, but it comes with the enormous risk of replacing the key players that made it successful in the beginning. The question to ask yourself is, why would they come back for Dragon Quest Builders 3? It's looking increasingly more and more hopeless, and now with the context of Pokopia, I think that's the nail in the coffin. I want to talk about why Dragon Quest Builders is so special. Dragon Quest Builders 2 holds a special place in my heart. I knew about the Dragon Quest franchise quite a few years ago, and I owned a few of the games. However, for a long while I was in a dark place in my life, and I struggled to finish any game, any show, nothing excited me or made me happy. Until Dragon Quest. After starting a long journey of bettering myself, I decided to give Dragon Quest another go, and I noticed Dragon Quest Builders 2 was on the PlayStation Pass. So I downloaded it, and I didn't know what this would do to me. I was introduced to such a special, amazing game. This led me to giving the mainline series a go again, and now Dragon Quest XI's, Dragon Quest VIII and Dragon Quest V are some of my favourite games of all time. Part of why I was so inspired to better myself and try to become a good person was because of Dragon Quest. It changed my life, and these games are special to me. It's what inspired me to create this channel. I wanted to explore the vast world of Dragon Quest, be creative with what I love, and find friends with a shared love of Dragon Quest. And for me, this passion I have, it was ignited by Dragon Quest Builders 2, and a third title would mean the absolute world to me. When we take a look back at the original compared to the sequel, there's some pretty big differences, but they share a lot in common. The original had great bones for a sandbox block building RPG, and Builders 2 built on these foundations in great ways. It had smoother gameplay, more functional gameplay, better worlds to explore, more content to dive into, actual multiplayer, and a better story. One thing I particularly love, and possibly my favourite thing about these games, was how the stories fused themselves very well together with the mainline stories of Dragon Quest 1 and 2, all whilst feeling original and unique, not leaning too heavily into nostalgia bait or rehashing the main game's stories. For context, Dragon Quest 1 had the option in the final moments to defeat the Dragon Lord or accept his offer to split the world 50-50 with him and let it plunge into darkness. The story of Dragon Quest Builders 1 is set within a world where the hero accepted this offer and the world was shadowed in darkness and the inhabitants lost their ability to create any semblance of society, with the focus on rebuilding and restoring the core of light to deter away monsters that rule the world. And the story of Dragon Quest Builders 2 takes place a long time after the final battle against Hargon and his defeat with Malroth. The story here focuses on the children of Hargon seeking revenge for their master by eliminating all builders in the world in order to do what Hargon couldn't. This title is very much linked to the story of Dragon Quest 2, as the hero and its events are referenced many times, and there's some crazy plot twists which I won't spoil here, however they're definitely worth playing. If you're enjoying this video so far, a like and subscribe would go a long way in supporting the channel. It lets me keep making videos about Dragon Quest that deserve more attention. I will honestly be very happy if they keep up this trend of tying builders with the mainline games. It helps feel like an actual spin-off. There's countless opportunities and potential for the story to grow. I've got some ideas that excite me so much, just use your imagination here. Dragon Quest 7 is a story about rebuilding past worlds. One of the worlds could be the location for Builders 3. The history of the Observatorium from Dragon Quest 9 could be expanded where you play as a Celestian builder that helps build the world and you can see more of heaven. Perhaps an alternate version of Dragon Quest 5 where Nimzo defeated the legendary hero and broke free out of Nideria into the real world, sort of similar to the themes of Builders 1, but adapted and entwined with the story and world of Dragon Quest 5. Or maybe lean into the origins of the Zenithian castle set before Dragon Quest 6, where you get to build the castle or see the Zenithians in their early ages. Or there's the more general consensus of finishing up the Urgic trilogy by linking Builders 3 with Dragon Quest 3. These are just a few potential routes they could go down, but there's so many more. I want to know more of your theories below. The potential of Dragon Quest Builders 3 honestly excites me, and there's a real business sense that can actually make them happen. The strongest case I can actually make the Builders 3 realistically happening is that Square Enix is a business, and if Pokopia's success genuinely reignites mainstream interest in sandbox RPGs as a genre, Square Enix would be leaving money on the table by not revisiting the one franchise they already own that exists in that exact space. They wouldn't need to rebuild from scratch, since the template and bare bones already exist, they just need to expand upon it. However, more importantly, the fan base already exists, and with Pokopia doing what it's doing, Builders 3 could be the smart move right now. Let's not forget the effort Square Enix has gone to in the last few years to give a second wind to Dragon Quest series, which shows a lot about where Builders is amongst their priorities. They've made 4 remakes in just a few years, the amazing HD 2D collection of Dragon Quest 1, 2 and 3, which I would argue is some of the best remakes ever, and Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, which, overall it was nice, but that's a different story. And let's not forget, all of this was during the silent development of Dragon Quest 12, so while we wait for the main course, these remakes and spin-offs satisfy us for now. It's important not to forget about spin-offs. After all, DQ Builders is a spin-off. Even recently, the Dragon Quest Monsters series got revived after a very long time with The Dark Prince, which was likely revived because of the genre's popularity reignited thanks to Pokemon. And they showed they aren't afraid to experiment with new genres either, as we've seen from the Dragon Quest Treasures and the Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai Game. Square Enix is by no means neglecting the Dragon Quest IP and isn't afraid to experiment a little. Square Enix very clearly cares about the series' legacy. That's why they remade the least free accessible titles and the most notoriously long title in the series. What isn't exactly clear to us is whether they believe in the future of Dragon Quest Builders. Honestly, part of me is hopeful. You've got to have hope. And the series may one day return, or if not, then other inspired games. At least for now, the genre is back, and it's all thanks to Pokopia. It's honestly a great game, and I'm grateful this genre is back. But on the other hand, we've got to be realistic. We've been talking about Dragon Quest Builders 3 for nearly 10 years now, and the team that made the series so special have moved on to Pokopia and potentially many other projects. No matter how much we may want Builders 3, it doesn't mean it will just happen. So we have to let Square Enix know that we want it. What we do have to do is make some noise. The Dragon Quest Builders games are so loved, but they undersold in the market, so we have to let Square Enix know that we want this game and that there's a big community backing it. Publishers do pay attention to demand, especially right now when Pokopia is such a hit. Now is the time to make noise, and if it doesn't work, then we still have Builders 1 and 2. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I'd love to know your opinion on the future of Dragon Quest Builders. Do you think it's dead or does it have a chance of revival? And if you want to know more about Dragon Quest, check out this video here about the depths of localization in Dragon Quest Swords or this cinematic retelling of Dragon Quest V. I really think you'll enjoy it.